Hello, welcome to the fourth episode of our series that talks about selfishness in our marriage and how this selfishness affects our marriages. And then we look at how it can be cured using biblical prescription. It can be cured. And so today's symptom of selfishness is singular expectations. Singular expectations. Singular expectations are when the expectations you have of the marriage are just yours. You haven't discussed them with your spouse. Your spouse has no idea that this is an expectation you have, and yet you imagine that they will be one way or another fulfilled. These are your singular expectations. In these singular expectations, you decide what is going to happen in your marriage on your own. And sometimes these expectations are unrealistic, and sometimes they're just outright not achievable, but you have them anyway. And some of your expectations, again, are based on where other people are. They are based on what your friends have achieved. They're based on what your friends are doing. They are comparisons to where other people are. These are the expectations that we want to deal with today. And so how do these singular expectations affect the marriage? How do they impact on the marriage? One of the things that will happen is that you'll become very demanding, forgetting that your spouse too has demands and expectations. You push for those things that you want, and it doesn't matter whether they are the same as the things that your spouse wants. And this puts a strain, of course, on the marriage. This puts a big strain on the marriage. Another thing that can happen is you begin to get frustrated when these expectations are not met. And this begins to develop a friction in your marriage because the expectations are not met. And then thirdly, what can happen is the affected spouse, the person who expectations are being placed on that are not being met, may become withdrawn and reserved. That's one response they may have. The other is that they would become combative, and you begin to have quarrels and fights all the time in your marriage. And so what is the cure? I want us to look at two portions of scripture that will give us the cure for this problem. And so what is the cure? I have two portions of scripture that I want us to look at to find the cure to these singular expectations. The first is Matthew 18, verse 19. And again, this is Christ himself talking. Truly, I tell you that if two of you agree about anything they ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. My friends, there is power in agreement. There is power in agreement. Where two of you sit down and agree that this is what we want to do, Christ is promising that it will be done for you by the Father in heaven. We need to be in agreement about what we are doing. And it really doesn't matter the magnitude of the thing. You can be agreeing on whether you should be taking an evening walk together in the estate. I remember when we got married, my wife and I, she liked to take walks. And she liked to take walks in the evening. And me being a true son of the slopes of the River Yala, I was not very comfortable with this. But we agreed. We agreed that we'd do it because it was an expectation that she had. And we agreed to take those walks. I even remember one time we were taking a walk and we meet a friend of hers, and as we're walking, her friend says, "Wow, you guys are taking a walk. How romantic." And I thought to myself, okay, this is romantic. Eh? This is what romance is about. Oh, good, nice, nice. But you see, we agreed. She had that expectation. And so we agreed that we would do it. So it doesn't matter the magnitude of the expectation. You could be agreeing on the need to invest in a pineapple farm in Thika. And then you agree on how you'll go about it. That's agreeing on an expectation. The expectation is maybe in the next 8 years we should be able to buy this pineapple farm in Thika. And you agree. And then you target it together. Okay? There is power in agreement. The other scripture that I want us to meditate on is Moses 3, verse 3. And it says, "Do two people walk together unless they have agreed to do so?" Do two people walk together unless they have agreed to do so? You must have a shared vision. Walking together is going together and you know where you're going. You have a shared vision. You are aiming for the same things. You are going in the same direction. You have a shared vision. So you cannot, in the marriage, have singular expectations. All expectations must be put on the table, and it must be agreed that this is how we are going to go about it. And always remember that even as you agree on your expectations, even as you have a vision that is common, the same vision, you must always remember that things can change. Things can take a different form. So always allow for adjustment, even in your expectations. Always allow for adjustment. So we agree, but things can change and we adjust. If you agreed on a certain thing and then one of you lost their job, then you sit down and agree again. And the expectations then change and the agreement changes, but you walk together. Let us continue to do stuff together. That is the cure. Look out for episode 5 coming soon.